Hello and welcome to Beyond the Hustle. I'm Alice, a certified NLP mindset and women's health coach, and I'm so beyond excited you're here. This podcast is for the human behind the success, the woman behind the business, behind the grind of building that legacy. Here we dive deep into mindset, rewiring your subconscious mind, nervous system regulation, and energetics. Basically everything that helps you feel grounded and grow sustainably. Whether you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, burnt out, or ready to step into your next level of success and self, this podcast will give you the tools, insights, and shifts to help you move forward with clarity, calm, and conviction. So if you're ready to stop hustling from fear and finally build success that feels as good as it looks, you're in the right place. Welcome to Beyond the Hustle. Hello, and welcome back to Beyond the Hustle podcast, the podcast for building the human that you are behind the business and behind the success. I'm very excited for this podcast because today I'm joined by an incredible guest, my wonderful friend and past client, Carys, who is an incredible content creator and a content coach. Would you like to tell everyone a little bit about yourself to begin with?
I'm so excited to be here, guys. So I'm Carys. I am a content creator and content coach. I've worked in the creative industry for about 10 years now. I've pivoted left, right, and centre, worked in TV production, marketing, social media management. I'm a presenter as well. I've done a lot. So yeah.
She's done a lot.
We're gonna delve in.
Yes. I think the first thing that I would love to touch on is like becoming a content creator and becoming a content coach, because I think just now, I mean, it's not that it's a trend, but like it's a trend, you know, like people are starting to realize, even just within the last few years as well, that there is so much that you can do in content. There's so much that you can do with, building your personal brand, building yourself, having that confidence on camera and stuff like that. So I would love to know, like, what has that journey looked like for you in becoming a content creator and then also becoming, you know, then a presenter and then a content coach? Like, what does that journey look like?
I'll try and keep it kind of short because I can talk about it for a while. So I think for me, it all started in college. So I studied TV and film in college, and that's where I learned that I was really good at directing and really good at editing. Like that, those were my two really strong points. Some people really good like videographers, but that wasn't really me. And I found my love for that. And when I finished college, obviously loads of people were going to university, and I was like, not doing that.
No.
I was like, me and education, we're done now. So I was like, okay, stop that. And I managed to get a job in TV production a few months after kind of finishing college. And whilst I was at college, I just liked experimenting, to be honest with you. I would like collaborate with photographers, videographers, and model in front of the camera when I was like 16. I would also film, edit, and upload YouTube videos when I was like 16 as well.
Wow.
I have them unlisted. I can still watch them.
I would love to see those.
Yeah, honestly. But actually it's funny because one of my YouTube videos from when I was about 16, I literally word for word said, yeah, I filmed a video, I edited it, and then I watched it, and I was like, oh, absolutely not, can't upload that, it's too cringe, and it's just funny to see, like, how I used to think about myself when I was kind of watching myself back and hearing myself back and not having that confidence, because I was only a child, like I was 16, but I think from then I've just continued repetitively to model, to work with videographers, photographers, create content to some degree. And the content creator aspect of things, that didn't really start until about 2.5 years ago. Like social media, it was just my personal account. And then it was more when I went self-employed about 2 years ago that I was like, okay, I need to see what I enjoy and what I like and what I'm good at. And I always enjoyed creating to some degree, whether that was long form YouTube content or like little TikToks, for example. And then it kind of grew from there, really. But I think starting from such an early age and showing up on camera, even when I didn't have the confidence to speak on camera, I was so young, I didn't know what on earth I was saying. I used to do like fashion hauls, and I would pick up this like coat and be like, I think it's this colour. I don't really know, guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think people think that they have to go into content creation, modelling, presenting, already having known what they're doing. And it's like, you don't need to do that. And I think because we're constantly shown all of these really, really developed high quality videos and creators online, people think, oh, well, I'm not that, so I can't do that. It's like, you can. Everyone's just at different starting points with their journey.
Yeah, I would love to know then, like, what you struggled with the most in stepping onto camera and, like, having confidence on camera. It sounds like to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, you have always filmed, so you've had a level of, like, comfortability on camera, but it's also been, like, finding kind of almost, like, who you are on camera.
Yeah, I think that it's been a massive part of who I am and finding my confidence, really. And I don't know, it's I can't really pinpoint it in a sense of like thinking of anything specific, because I was like, actually, I think in college we had to actually document certain parts of our courses. So we'd do this course, go out and film these bits, and like I remember I filmed a YouTube video of like behind the scenes of it with like a GoPro and stuff. And I think that from the initial, I was like, okay, let's just document this. I'm so glad that I did, by the way, like, because it's so nice now to look back on it and be like, wow, I've grown so much.
Yeah.
And also, you know, being a content coach and teaching people these things, it's like, this is the evidence of where I was. Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Like, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. Even if I look back on, like, my content, like, years ago, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have come a long way. Like, the way that I am talking to the camera is so different to, you know, when I was first doing it and I was, like, touching my hair and, like, really awkward. And it's like, yeah, like, you're probably going to feel like that at the start because you're not used to it.
No.
And then the more familiar you get doing it, you obviously have that confidence. What would you say is, like, because now that you're coaching people in content and obviously having that, like, level of confidence and building their brand on camera as well, what would you say is, like, the biggest limitations that you notice in them?
Oh my God, fear of judgment. Like, absolutely. I would say, like, that's the biggest one. People care so much of what other people think and how they're going to seem and how they're going to sound, and like, they're their own worst critics. However, I think that comes down to so much more in like their life in general, whether that's their friends, whether that's their boyfriend, girlfriend, family members, boss. Like, so many people have these limiting beliefs off what other people have said about them, currently say about them, and their own limiting beliefs. Like, for example, before, I've wanted, like, if in like a previous relationship, I've filmed or a piece of content. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to give you a perfect example. I was with my ex-boyfriend and we were both on holiday together, and we were just walking down the beach and he was like, oh, can you take a picture of me in my outfit? I was like, yeah, babes, give me the camera. Let me take your pics. Then I took all of them. He was happy. And then I was like, oh, can you take mine? He was like, why? I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, why?
What?
Like, but that's the whole thing, right? It's like people will have all of these ambitions and all of these goals and these drives for more. And then it can be one little thing that people think, why are you doing that? Are you seriously going to post that? And it's like confidence gone, shattered, never to be done again.
I also think with that as well, it's like, yeah, maybe you've had comments like that in the past that I think like fear of judgment is like that prediction of like what you actually believe yourself, which you know we know now, but it's like where people are like, oh my god, well, what if this person thinks it's embarrassing because you think that it's embarrassing, like you're passing that off to someone else because it's easier, but like that's what you're judging about yourself.
And I feel like so many people have this blocker, right? So they'll create a piece of content and then they'll sit on it for ages. They'll rewatch it so many times. They'll pick it apart. And with content, it's just repetitions. It's just consistency. Literally, you hear it all the time, but it's really true. Because the more you get used to press and post and content being out there, the easier it becomes. Like, I don't have a block now when it comes to content. I'm very, very, very open and transparent with everything that goes on in my life online. And that actually has helped me because actually I have no blocker. Like, I'll be very, very open and honest. And once you put yourself crying online, ain't no blockers in here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we can open anything now.
Yeah, any box is going to be opened, absolutely.
Yeah. I would love to pivot a little bit into overcoming burnout, because when I first met you, she was burnt out. Okay, like you're no longer, we've moved away from that now. But I would love to know, I obviously know that a lot of my clients, they come to me burnt out, but burnout looks so different for so many people. How did you know that you were burnt out? What were the signs, the symptoms, like the red flags? If you're listening to this podcast, having a realization that you're always burnt out in business, always struggling to hold it all, from the responsibility to the visibility to the schedule, always navigating the feeling of not having enough time for everything you want to do inside and outside of your success, then this is your sign. Because inside my one-to-one coaching, we don't just place a band-aid on the strategy and call it a day. We dive deep into the patterns, actions, beliefs, and fears that are currently driving your business and keeping you stuck in burnout, overwhelm, and panicking around your growth. This space is designed specifically for the women ready to build a version of success that truly lights them up, that allows them to surpass the 10K months, to hire the team, and to expand without constantly losing themselves inside of it. In every coaching journey, you will receive a personal in-depth audit, diving into your subconscious mind, your nervous system, and capacity blockers, as well as your structures and systems, so that we can understand the exact shifts we need to move through to create sustainable success. You will always get access to one-to-one subconscious strategy calls and support along the way, so that your fears will truly never run the show again. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, then you can find out more information in the show notes, or you're also welcome to message me personally on Instagram with any questions. Now let's get back to the podcast.
I feel like there were so many different aspects of my life that it propped up in, I would say. It propped up in, obviously, business life. It propped up in relationships. It propped up in my fitness. And I think I was constantly running on overdrive, just trying to be this person that I wasn't really authentically. So for a bit of context, fitness perspective, I was competing in high rocks. And for anyone that has done high rocks before, it's very, very overstimulating, pushes your body to the max, and doesn't regulate your nervous system. I loved it. And now and again, it's nice to do a class and leave. But I was doing that like constantly. And I don't think I realised how much of an impact that actually had on how I was internally feeling, and comparing myself to other people that were faster than me, fitter than me. So that was one aspect of things. And then because of that, I was then friends with like a certain group of people, and I never ever felt closeness, and like people were truly there for me and my friendships. So that was another aspect of things. And then business, I was very, very lost in what I was doing still, which is very, very uncomfortable feeling, because I still didn't know what I was doing. Everything that I was doing would work for a certain period of time, and then it would stop working. And I was like, you're just there like, why is nothing working for me? And why does everything feel really just like 40%? And I don't feel fulfilled. And I think that is definitely where I was at when I came to you, because I was just kind of like, I know I'm destined for more and I need more. How the heck do I start changing my life? Because I didn't know what I needed to change. So it was really, really consuming and hard, because I was physically burnt out, but also mentally just drained, to be honest.
I think that, and that is also like part of it, where people think that burnout is just physical.
It's not.
It's
like mainly mental.
Yeah,
really.
It's mainly mental, because it's like, for one person, burnout can be like constant fatigue. For another, it can be like disconnecting from people in your life and all of that. What has been one thing that, like, obviously hitting burnout kind of showed you that like something had to change, right? But what has hitting burnout taught you?
To live your life for yourself and your own validation, and not external validation. Because if you're constantly living your life trying to please other people, you're actually never truly going to be happy. And your nervous system's probably not going to be very regulated. So definitely that's the biggest thing that I've realised, is understand what you like to do and what lights you up and what regulates your nervous system, because everyone's so different, right? And I think it's easy to think, oh, I need to do this because this person's doing that, or I need to do that because I want to be as fast as this person. It's like, what do you want to do though? And it's so easy with like the whole online social media aspect of things to think, well, I need to be like that if I want to be successful. And it's like, you really don't.
Like the highlight reel. Like you never really know.
Social media is so fake.
Yeah.
So fake. And that's why I pride myself on being as real as I can online, because I'm sick of it. I'm actually sick of it.
Yeah.
And I think about it from a perspective of like my niece. My niece is 13, 14, and she's a very impressionable age. And, you know, when she eventually goes on to like Instagram, for example, God forbid, I'm there like, Josh, don't let her. I think it's opening up to her a whole world of just a fake business life. Because I feel like when we were younger, Instagram was just, you'd put like an effect on your photos and it was just like this really fun thing.
Yeah.
Whereas now social media is business, selling, like it's constantly rammed down your throat. And don't get me wrong, I think it's an incredible opportunity now for people who want to step into business or step into content creation or influencing or whatever it is. But it's very, very consuming. I think unless you know how to set boundaries with yourself in consuming, can be very, very mentally draining.
Yeah, because when I think back to like when I first had Instagram, I was posting like photos of me. There's like a series of my life where I'd be at parties and all my photos, my tongue would be out and like that's it.
God. Yeah.
But like that's like, and then you put on like I can't remember the name of the filter, but there was always a filter that everyone used that was just terrible looking back now. And it's like, yeah, and you would maybe do like a little like peace sign or something.
Oh,
and
it's
that's
always a peace sign, yeah, absolutely.
And now it's like, you're telling me now I have to actually like think and have a strategy of like what I'm posting. Like that is actually wild.
Bottom of the funnel, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And also, what has with that lesson around like hitting burnout, like what would you say, how has that lesson like transferred into how you lead your life and your business now?
I would just say I am so good at like setting boundaries, first of all. And I think the sooner you can get comfortable with setting boundaries with people and stop people pleasing, the better, first of all. I just feel so confident in my decisions and who I am as a person. So if something isn't aligning, I'll change it and I'll feel comfortable to do that. I think beforehand you question yourself so much and you overthink so much because you're sat in this state of fear of failure, fear of judgment, and I think that keeps you stuck in the same sort of position and you can never really, really grow. So I think now I live a life of like, okay, what's good for me? What regulates my nervous system? And how is this going to get me to the sort of life that I want to live? But it's funny because we were saying, I think it was yesterday, that neither of us have like vision boards for this year because we're like, because I was personally like, I'm living the life that I put on my vision board a year ago. Like, I didn't really feel the desire to think, oh my God, what are my goals for 2026? Because I was going through a hell of a start of the year and I was like, actually, I can't even think about what goals I want to have for this year. I just want to mentally get through it.
Yeah.
So I think it's understanding like actually what's important in life, first of all. And to just back yourself because no one else is going to be there for you when things don't go right.
Yeah.
But you have to have the mindset of like, okay, this hasn't gone right for a reason. Like everything that's blown up in my face this past 10 years of like being in the creative industry, I'm like, I understand now. I understand why that didn't work.
I am literally always like that as well. Whenever I'm going through something, I'm like, what is the lesson?
What is this teaching me? Yeah.
But do you know what? I think a lot of people, and I've been told in the past, like, you're too optimistic and like it's like
how's that even a thing?
And I'm like, literally I'm like, how is that a thing? Like I personally would rather be the person who thinks, what is this doing for me rather than like what has this done to me?
Yeah.
I'm like, that just for me is like that helps me move so much quicker through things. And I'm like, there's no much like too much optimism. Like feel your thing, feel what you gotta feel because like you got to do that as well. But I'm always like, feel it,
Yeah.
What am I going to do now?
Well, it's a simple mindset shift of, for example, oh, I have to go run a 5K tonight. No, I get to run a 5K tonight. Like, how lucky am I that I get to actually move my body freely for my mental health?
Yeah.
It's a simple mindset change that can actually make you a lot more grateful in just day-to-day life.
Yeah, I think gratitude is one of those things that, like, even like stepping into having your own business, because even when you're first starting, that shit's hard. Like,
Mate.
you don't have structure anymore. You're fully on your own, and you're probably working by yourself, and it's like that can be hard. And I see that so often where people then come in, and that's when those beliefs of like, I'm not good enough and I'm not capable because this person's doing so much better. And I was even having this conversation the other day with a client who was saying, you know, it's not working. And I was like, I know that's not true because I know of all the evidence you have that it is working, but you're choosing to believe that it's not working because that's keeping you stuck here. And it's like sometimes having that gratitude of, okay, yeah, this person inquired, they didn't move through the funnel, they didn't sign, that's still someone inquiring and that's still movement. Or this still felt good for me. Maybe it didn't turn out the way that I wanted to, but it felt aligned, it felt good, it felt like it was moving somewhere for me. And it's like, I think that gratitude sometimes is like what you need.
Yeah, I can remember we did an exercise in one of our sessions, you got me to do it after, and it was around money and my mindset around money. And I had this belief that I wasn't good with money. And I can remember you said to me, right after this call, write a list of things that essentially make you realize that you are good with money. And I struggled at first because I was like, yeah, but I'm not good with money. And then I was like, bam, 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 debt free, bam, just pay to go to Dubai by myself, like all of these things. And I was like, holy moly.
You would not be doing that if you weren't good with money.
No. And that was such a big shift for me because I was like, oh, actually, okay. I'm actually like not too bad.
Yeah.
Actually. But I think for me, because my career's always been like contract work before I went self-employed, and when I went self-employed, it's like you're literally growing from the ground up. I had about £1,000 in savings, and then that went like that, and then you're still trying to pay rent because I didn't live at home, and it's like people make all of these excuses to why they can't do the thing, and I'm like, you have no idea how many sacrifices I have made and how much money that I've like not had in these years of building. And it's just like, if you want it hard enough, I'm sorry, you will go and do it. You'll go do the thing. But there's just so many limiting beliefs that people have that just constantly keeps them stuck. And it's really hard to witness. Yeah. Especially when it's like one of your friends or something, you're like, you have so much talent that you just need to push through those limiting beliefs. But unless you go through it, I find it really hard to try and communicate that.
Yeah, because it is, it's a hard one. And also it's so hard if it's like a friend or if it's, and you're seeing it in someone and you just want to be like, oh my God.
Shake them.
Get rid of this.
Snap out of it.
Please get rid of this. Yeah. I think as well with like, talking of like money as well, like I see a lot of people where they're like, I want to be earning this. I want to be living this lifestyle. I want to have a team under me. And I'm like, how do you think you're going to be able to do that if you yourself struggle to invest or you yourself struggle to like feel good with money? Yeah. If you're then paying other people, that starts with your relationship with money. And I'm like, that's also where it's like, you have to go inwards rather than external.
And a lot of the time, it's not actually what people actually want. Like, I went into mindset coaching with you being like, I want to make 10K a month. I want to do this. I want to do that. My whole vision board was like money, talking on panels, G-Wagons, all of these like big shiny things. And I soon came to realize like that constant like, and do you know what? Actually thinking back to it, I felt so much pressure on my shoulders constantly to get that. Because I put this own expectation on myself, like, you must do that. You must be able to travel. You must be able to financially afford all of these things. Yep. And I think what we worked through for me was, like, obviously the massive shift from, like, financial money mindset, but also masculine to feminine energy. Like, that was a huge, like, the biggest shift for me, I think. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, actually, like, I just kind of want a regulated nervous system and to, like, go and do a form of Pilates and have more of like time freedom and actually feel good in my mental health. Like, I don't want a G-Wagon anymore.
Yeah.
God forbid.
Yeah. And I think as well, like, that's what I definitely want to go into, but just to touch on that quickly as well, is like, I think this is where people also think that, we were saying this yesterday, like, people going into your feminine, you think you're going soft. You think that it's then like, I can't earn that money because it's going to look so different. Like, I should kind of like make myself smaller. And it's like, no, you can still have the goal of 10K, whatever that goal may be.
Yeah.
But the process of getting to it is going to feel so much better. Like, you get to be way more like yourself. And obviously, yeah, that was a massive shift for you, was being in that masculine overdrive.
Yeah.
To then stepping into your feminine. I'm curious to know, what was your, when you were in that like masculine energy all the time, what was your perception of being in your feminine?
I probably would say that I wouldn't be able to get to the goals that I wanted to if I was in my feminine energy, and I wouldn't have control like I wanted to in my feminine energy as well, and probably like boundary setting, all of that sort of aspect of things. And yeah, because I think for me, I held so much of my self-worth on my career, and that was the issue, really. Because it was like when I had like loads of projects coming in, and I think because when I moved to Manchester, crazy stuff happened in my career. I got amazing opportunities. I was working with Disney, I was working with Holland and Barrett, I was working with Asda, Budweiser, and I was like, what on earth is going on? Like, what the heck is going on? And I think because I had all of these shiny things and all of these brands, that people were like, what? And I was like, I know, like, oh my gosh. That when I didn't have it, people were like, oh, so how's work? Like, what brands are you working with now? I was like, yeah, it's not. Like, I don't actually. And then that shift, I was like, I felt like a bit of a failure in some senses. And I think because I had such a high expectation of myself and what I wanted from my career, when I wasn't reaching that, I was just like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and I think
really
as
hard.
well, I don't know why this is kind of coming through to me, but like when we look at like men being in masculine energy as well, like I think a lot of men and men that I have worked with and stuff like that, they've had the pressure to be the provider. And it's like that becomes your identity. And then when they're not able to provide in the same way, they feel like they've lost themselves. And it's the same way for like us, if we're putting all of our value on career, on what we also like can do for our partner, for someone else, or whatever it may be, people pleasing, like we lose ourselves as soon as like that doesn't feel like it fits anymore. It doesn't feel like it's working, or you're not able to provide as much or whatever it may be. And I'm like, yeah, that's when you're putting your worth into something external, or like someone else's perception of you or what you can give to them, of course your worth is going to be like come crashing down at some point.
And I think for me personally, I grew up in a family of my dad went into the Navy and then he was a policeman. My two brothers went into the army when they were 16.
Wow.
Everyone's always had really, from the get-go, secure careers. So me being like, I'm not going to uni, and do you know what? I'm not going to get a stable job either. I'm going to try and see what happens. Don't get me wrong, my family were very, very supportive and they let me just do my thing. But I felt the sense of like, I want to prove them wrong, that actually all of these decisions that I've made over the years was worth it. And that was a massive thing for me, because I was like, and also I moved to Manchester by myself and, you know, moved away from my mum and wanted to make sure that she knew that like that was also the right decision for me, and I made the most of that. So I think for a long time I felt that pressure, I guess, to be like, no, I am going to make it work, guys. Don't worry.
Like, I'm
like you don't need to worry about me.
Yeah, I'm working hard. It's going to work. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
What would you say is different now then, having like realigned, now that we've got the balance, we're not in masculine all the time, but like we've got the balance of masculine and feminine, like what would you say has changed for you now as a business owner and like within your business?
Trust for myself. I think I trust myself so much more in my decisions, and I don't feel as anxious if I have to make a tough decision. The other morning I told my client that I was like, this isn't aligned anymore, like I want to stop, and that's what we did. and yes, it was an uncomfortable conversation to go into, and I felt a bit anxious. I knew for a fact it was 100% the right decision. And I think it teaches you more actually what you want and not what you think you want. And also the trust in yourself. And I think when you start living your life for yourself and not to please other people, you're actually like, yeah, this is the right decision for me, not for anyone else. And it becomes so much easier to actually make decisions and pivot and have those tough conversations with people, because you're like, actually, this is benefiting me. I don't care about anyone else. You have to be a bit selfish. Because it's like, you have one life. This is your life. Why are you constantly making decisions for other people to please other people? But then it's affecting you mentally.
People think being selfish is selfish, but to me, people pleasing is selfish.
So, yeah.
Because you are not, and like that's like everything that I do is like about making sure you're the best version of yourself for what you're doing, for your business, for other people. People pleasing is so selfish in that you're always ever putting other people first, which, that's kind, that's whatever it may be. You're then not showing up as your best self for them. So like that's where you then get people getting frustrated, like arguing all the time, and like, you know, being annoyed that this person's expecting this of you, and it's like, because you're people pleasing. And it's like, so that is selfish because you're not your best self for them.
And do you know what the biggest shift that I've seen since being able to set boundaries and really understand what I want from my life? My friendships. Oh my God. My friendships, my girlies. Because I can remember we had a conversation and I was like, I had such a hard relationship with friends, especially girls. And I was like, I always felt like my friendships with girls were always going to be like this. I put more effort in and I don't really get much out. And oh my God, like the girls that I have now in my life are so caring. Like they care so much. And it's always like, it's 50-50. And when I was struggling really, really badly, they were always there. They were always checking up. And like, it's like Carys, however many years ago, would have only dreamt to have those best friends. And I think the reason that I have them now is because I've aligned in what I want from a friendship, my boundaries, and also communication. Like I used to really, really struggle with communicating my needs, whether that was to friends, family, clients, ex-boyfriends, whatever. I would, again, people please. And we were actually watching. So I don't know why this happened, but I feel like it was meant to have happened.
It was fate.
It was 100% fate. So when Alice and I did our first call together, I had this note taker that would like obviously take notes of all our call, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna have this on because I just want to be able to like watch it back and stuff and take notes. And you can see Alice was like, yeah, I'm going to take notes, but yeah, sure.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Can I also just preface that, like, I actually did not know that this recorded me. Like,
did you?
I did not know until we watched it the other day I thought it just took actual notes.
No, it literally records
so
and then
like,
takes notes.
Wow,
yeah,
looking at myself in third person from like call, I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And it was weird because it was like a good over an hour call. So I just kind of like skipped to certain parts in the video. And one of them, I was saying like that I just like tend to not voice my opinion because I basically have never been kind of heard and listened to and felt safe to be able to do that. And it was so weird because I was like, oh my God, like I've got this from our first call. We have to watch it. And it was weird that one of the sections of the call that I pressed onto was that, because I genuinely like, I'm so confident in communicating everything now. Doesn't matter who it's with.
Yeah. Which is like,
I don't care.
It's so wild. Like watching that, like even though I was there, I didn't recognize you.
I didn't recognize myself.
I was like, that's not Carys. Yeah, just seeing you say that, I was like, but you have no problem doing that now.
Absolutely none.
So, like, that's wild. And that was only just over a year ago. So, like,
literally,
to think that just over a year ago, you were not voicing your opinions. You were keeping yourself, like, and then you were struggling because of that.
Yeah.
To see the effect of that. And now you're like, so open, so honest. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. And the only reason that I have the life that I have now and the friends that I have now and the dynamics of the relationships is because of my communication and being honest. Like, it's so easy to just allow people to talk to you how they want and to, I think, like, things like, especially with dating, for example, right? Especially in the early days, it's like, okay, if someone cancels on me and doesn't reschedule, it's like, yeah, okay, see you later then. Or I'm so easy to be like, yeah, no, that doesn't align with me. Like, you could have easily communicated what was going on in your life. And the fact that you didn't, that's not an attractive trait to me. And that's actually a very, very simple thing to do. So we are not continuing. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so important because if you want a like healthy relationship, whether that's romantic or platonic, it's built off communication.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's one of the hardest things to do. Really is, especially when you have to have really tough conversations. But what's the alternative? What is actually the alternative? You just continue living your life in people pleasing and actually really like destroying your own life. Not worth it.
I even see that now with a lot of my clients where they struggle to set boundaries with their clients. So many of my clients have you know, not set like contract lengths.
Oh, yeah.
And then being, you know,
That's
left
really
where,
tricky.
Yeah, because then you're left with someone, you know, saying, "Oh, see you later." Like, I'm gonna basically quit this now, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, well, can they do this?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, you've not set an expectation or a boundary or a contract here. So like, yes, because you're too afraid of setting that in the first place, because they think that like authority is bad, and it's like, no, authority and being open and communicating and having that is good. Is actually like, it opens you up to more security, obviously, but more like confidence in what you're doing.
Honestly, the confidence you gain from it, mental. Like, the confidence that I have now in everything is crazy. I honestly like feel like a completely different person. Like me a year ago, don't know who she was. Genuinely. But I think it's testament that you can do the work and you can change your life. I think so many people think that the position that they're in now is their set thing, and it's like, no. Like, if you got a goal, you go and get that goal. Like, I promise you, like, if you work on your mindset and you surround yourself with the right people and you pivot and you get out of your comfort zone, you can change your life.
Yeah.
Like, if you told Carys 3 years ago, oh yeah, you'd go on to working with some of the biggest brands in the world, in the UK, you'd be a presenter, you do this, you'd live in the city centre of Manchester, I'd be like, haha, very funny. Tell another joke. I'd be like, no, I wouldn't. You can just do it. But so many people are afraid to get out of that comfort zone. I see it all the time. All the time.
All of those like fears coming in and everything.
And then controls them, and then they're like, yeah, not going to do that.
Show. Yeah, it controls them, and then even like, you know, you start doing the thing and you push yourself out the comfort zone, but then all of your decisions are still controlled by that fear. So it looks different to how you would move if you were just confident and you got rid of them. And it's like, that's what allows you to actually grow and do the thing that feels good and feels aligned. Yeah. 100%.
Because I had like years of therapy, for example, and that for me was good for what I needed, I think, at the time. But you're just talking about your issues with someone who doesn't know you, doesn't know your family, and can be quite neutral. But then when I found with the mindset coaching, like, you actually work through it and actually rewire your subconscious brain around it. So then actually, like, all of those beliefs that you had about yourself, like, they no longer exist.
Yeah, they're gone. See you later.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, someone asked me the other day about something. I was like, yeah, no, those thoughts literally don't come into my head because I've already worked through that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not even part of it anymore.
I think that's so funny as well, because I think a lot of people even like assume, okay, so after doing the mindset coaching, or even me being a mindset coach, that like, oh, so you never struggle with like fears, or you never like struggle with like low mood or low confidence. And it's like, no, I'm human.
We're
like,
human,
I'm not
guys.
a fucking robot.
I'm not an AI
human.
robot, don't worry.
Yeah, so I still have those. And of course, you still have those days where you're feeling a little bit of fear, or you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're feeling something. But the difference is, I'm not sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, this means something about me. I'm able to say, no, actually, I'm feeling this because X, Y, and Z, but I know that I'm capable of moving through it, so I'm going to go and do it.
Yeah, like you detach like your self-worth from it. You don't hold it in that. It's like, yes, I am struggling, but this is just a little blip in the road sort of thing. This is a period, but it doesn't mean that I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not lovable. Like, that gone. Like,
see ya.
That's gone. Like, those limits and beliefs are gone. And I think it does enable you to work through blockers a lot easier.
Yeah.
And actually see it for what it actually is.
I would love to pivot a little bit.
We're going to pivot again.
Yeah. Because the last 2 months for you have been very hard.
Yes.
And navigating unexpected grief.
Yes.
Whilst building a business.
Yeah.
How would you say, like, navigating that has altered the way that you kind of approach your life?
Oh, God. Life is so short. Like, it's so short. And I know we always would say it anyway, like, life is so short, but goddamn, like, losing Jake, my brother, he was only 32. 32? I'm 28. I'm about to turn 28, 4 years older. That's mental to me. And I think, you know, when I see it, when I have conversations with people now and they're like, oh yeah, you know, I'll just like carry on working a job that I hate. And then maybe like next year I'll have a look at it when I've got more savings, for example. I'm like, mate, you need to live your life like you don't have a tomorrow, because actually back in November, I was working full-time as a presenter, but I was doing live presenting for some brands on TikTok shop, essentially. So I was selling their products live, and I was like really, really, really in my flow for like presenting. I was like, this is my jam. Like, oh my God, like I found my thing that I love. And then when I found out that Jake had committed suicide, I was like, I can't do any work. Like, all of my work for like the end of November and whole of December had to just get cancelled, because I was like, I can't go on camera. Do you know what's actually crazy, right? So the morning that I found out, I went on TikTok live like an hour and a half later. I lasted about an hour, and then I was like, can I just come off for a second? Came off, couldn't stop crying, and I was like, I can't stay on. Because that was, it was Black Friday weekend. So I had huge, like, 6-hour lives for, like, Russell Hobbs, like, really big lives that I was, like, getting locked into. I was really excited. And then I was like, what am I going to do? Because that was, like, over that weekend, I would have earned close to, like, $1,000. And I was like, I can't miss out on that money. And then I was like, but I can't go on live. So I think that was a massive shift for me, because I was like, I can't be a presenter full-time. I don't know how presenters actually do it that are actually genuinely like full-time presenters, whether that's like TV or
compartmentalize it.
Yeah, or actors, for example. I'm like, I don't know how they do it. But yeah, it really has taught me, like, live your life fully to the max, live it authentically to you, and just do whatever you want to do, and surround yourself with the right people. Because if you live a life that you're surrounded by like wrong people, when you don't feel truly like fulfilled, you are just wasting your time. And also for my brother, he was in a really, really toxic relationship, and that's why it led to what happened, essentially. And I think from the perspective of like the girl that he was with, I think, why on earth would you want to do that to someone and like constantly push and prod someone to make them get to that point? I just think if you're in a toxic relationship or any sort of relationship that doesn't fulfill you, you have to leave, whether that's a romantic relationship or a friendship. Like, I had to do it recently with a friend. I was just like, this isn't good for me, and it really isn't helping me, and your decisions are affecting me mentally. Like, cut it off. And yeah, it's just been the weirdest thing, because even when I talk about it now, it still doesn't feel real. And I think that's why sometimes I can talk about it quite like normally, because it just doesn't feel real, and I don't think it ever will, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not been easy.
Something that I found like incredibly inspiring around how you were navigating such a hard period of your life was you choosing to run 32 kilometers in like memory of Jake. What was, because that was like the furthest you've ever run, right? Yeah. So she really went, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
What was, through that journey, because I can imagine there would have been a lot of emotions, thoughts on that, that run. What was the biggest takeaway from that run?
If we go back a little bit, I think when I found out about it, there was just like a switch that flipped in my head. I was like, I have to use my voice. I have to use my voice. I have to use my voice to spread awareness around this. Like, it's so important. And I think when we lost Jake, I realised how many people commit suicide every single day. Mental, first of all, how we lose so many people every single day to suicide. How many people that I have reached out to me that have also lost their siblings specifically. And I had this like drive to be like, right, I have to use this as my like purpose. And it's been my purpose ever since to do everything that I'm doing. I'm like, okay, right. Jake didn't get to live his life to the fullest and get to experience getting married and having a child and seeing me get married. Like, I'm going to have to get married. I don't even have a boyfriend, but I'm going to have to get married eventually, hopefully, fingers crossed if I get to, and he's not going to be there. And it just lit a fire in me because I was like, I need to just push. But leading up to the 32 kilometers, it was the pits of hell because he passed on the 28th of November, and then over the December period, we had to plan his funeral. We had his funeral 2 days before Christmas. And then the first week of January, I went away on a work trip. And that was my last long run of like kind of the block. So beforehand, I'd ran a half marathon, but that I wasn't like just bashing them out normally. They were like races.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really doing long distance. So I went to my friend Lewis and I was like, Lewis, like I need you to sort me a plan because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So Lewis did all of my training plan for me. He did the whole route for the 32 kilometers, so I didn't have to think about it. He was an angel, literally. Shout out to Lewis. And he really helped me through that sort of stage. But when I was away on that work trip, I did a half marathon, got sunstroke, and was like in bed for like a whole day, honestly. And then that was maybe like the Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I had the 32 kilometers on the Saturday, Sunday. I think it was the Saturday. And I can remember I got to like the Friday, I was like, why have I done this? Why have I done this? What a stupid decision. Because when I knew that I wanted to do a run to raise awareness around it, I was like, what can I actually do that's like impactful and not just, oh yeah, I'm going to go run a half marathon. Like I've done that before. That's not impactful. And I was like, well, he was 32, so let's do 32 kilometers. And I didn't really deep how far it was. And yeah, I got through it, obviously. And I don't know, I didn't know how I was going to be on the day, right? I didn't know if I was going to be really emotional during the run, whatever it was. I locked in. After about 15 kilometers, 16 kilometers, I just went mute. Anyone that tried to talk to me, I just stayed silent because I was like, this is the pits. I have to lock in. And we had quite a good turnout with people. I had my best friend Saffron running with me basically the whole way. So to be able to have like my closest people there with me on the day was like huge. It was massive. So yeah, it taught me there's nothing you cannot do, first of all. And two, surround yourself with the best people. Because when you have crazy ideas like that, you need people that are like, right, what do you need? I'll come with you on the day. How can I help you prepare? Anything you need, essentially.
And also for anyone listening, there is an incredible documentary of it, which definitely made me cry multiple times. Oh, God. But you should definitely watch that. I'll link it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I wonder as well, for if there is anyone listening who is navigating grief, who has gone through some form of loss of a loved one, of someone that they know, and maybe they are trying to spin all the plates and continue showing up and struggling with that, and it's feeling like a lot, obviously. What piece of advice would you have for them?
Stop. Slow down. Regulate your nervous system. Stop. Just stop. Because if you try and keep working through this, it's not going to work. Not going to work. And I can remember in like end of December, start of January, people were like, what are your goals for 2026? I was like, to mentally get through it without having a mental breakdown. Like, what do you mean? And I think grief specifically is the most overwhelming feeling you'll ever experience, because you feel like you're going mental. Like you actually, I felt like I was going mental because I was having such negative thoughts, and anything and everything that people were saying, doing was annoying me. And I was like, I was really short with people. I was really angry. Obviously, they're all normal feelings. I remember I was literally on ChatGPT, like, I feel like this. Is this normal? And they were like, yes, this is part of the grief process. You're going to feel like X, Y, and Z. Like, that's completely normal. But because I'd never experienced it before, I was honestly like, I don't know what literally what is happening right now. And it makes you feel like you're going crazy. But I would just say, for anyone that's going through grief right now, you have to slow down. You have to slow down. And you have to really lock into what is going to help regulate your nervous system. For me, that was like fitness. Fitness has always been the main thing that I've gone to when I've been struggling. It's always been a constant. Sort of like ice bath and sauna places. Like, they're really, really, really calming. Especially a sauna, like, you can kind of breathe a little bit better. Staying off social media. Stay away from alcohol. Don't go out. Do not go out. I wasn't a big drinker anyway before, but there was no way I was touching alcohol in that, like, 2 months. No way.
Yeah.
So I would just say, lock into healthy habits of your day-to-day life. I think that's really important. And just speak to people about it. And don't pretend like you're okay if you're not okay. I think in the initial, like, you can't control it. I can remember in the first, like, month, like, I couldn't control crying. Like, I feel like now I can control it. If I feel it, I can control stopping it if it's not the right time or place. But in the initial, I couldn't stop crying. Could not stop crying. And then that's when I had a really bad, like, skin breakout, for example. And I just remember, like, walking down the street with, like, so my brother, obviously we got all of Jake's stuff, and my brother, he had these, like, Bose headphones, and they're big over the head noise cancellation headphones. And I saw them, I was like, because we all kind of took certain things that we wanted from his stuff, essentially. So I took a hoodie, some t-shirts, and these headphones. And I wear them, like, all the time. Out and about, to the gym, on runs, when I'm traveling. And they were a godsend. Absolute lifesaver. Because actually, like, when I was walking out and about, hearing people laugh, hearing people talk, police sirens, every noise was so triggering to me. I can remember the first time I heard police sirens after I got the call, rush of anxiety. Because I was like, that's exactly what would have been going on when they had to go and find my brother. And then, all of these noises, like people laughing, out and about with their friends, I was like... And also, it was Christmas. Everyone was going to, like, Christmas markets and having a really nice time with, like, their partners leading up to Christmas. And I was like, I'm literally planning my brother's funeral. I was like, what do you mean?
Such, like, polar opposites.
I was like, how can everyone's life go on whilst mine is literally falling apart? And I think that's the hardest part with grief is life goes on. Life goes on. And I think I felt resentment towards people because I was just like, their life is literally just going on normal. And I literally feel like mine's falling apart. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
It's just not fair. Not fair.
Yeah, I can imagine it. Yeah, it does feel like like it's unfair that life goes on.
It's so unfair.
Yeah.
And it's so unfair that your life has to go on as well. It's like, what do you mean? Like, it's like, how can your life go on when you literally don't have your brother? Like, how do you expect me to live my life normally? But I use that as my power and my purpose. And that's the thing. Like, he is now the reason that I do essentially everything that I do. And I am the way that I am, and I set those boundaries that I do when I live like there's no tomorrow, because I think actually, like, yes, I'm healthy right now, but even the healthiest of people can be made ill and, you know, pass instantly. Hear it all the time.
What an incredible perspective for you to take.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for you to be like, life is too short, so like I am going to live like my best life for myself.
But I do genuinely think it's off the basis of like the mindset coaching we did. Like, I say it to people all the time. I'm like, I genuinely don't think that I would have been able to get through it the way that I have if I didn't go through that mindset coaching last year. Because even when we worked through the mindset coaching, I had a lot of resentment towards my family, and like the fact that I'd never really had a close relationship with my brothers because they went into the army when they were 16, and I craved that relationship so bad. But then we worked through it together, and I think thank God that we did, because I feel like I wouldn't have been able to handle it as well as I have done if I didn't go through that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's well, I'm very glad.
I'm so glad that we did it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
No,
so much for coming on to
thank
this.
you.
Would you like to tell people where they can find you before we kind of close out?
I would love to. Yeah, all of my socials is just my name. So Carys Anderson Jones on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, everything. But yeah, if you kind of want to be part of my journey as I navigate, you know, this new chapter with living with grief, and then also launching my online service, then I would love to have you along for the journey, because yeah, there's ups and downs, but I keep it very, very real on all of my socials. So would love to have you there.
Yes, amazing. Well, thank you. And I will catch you guys in the next episode.